Good evening, everybody. We are about to start. Our topic of the day is how to navigate the Hisa app. In the meantime, last week we dealt with how you can get verified on the Hisa app. And today, our financial markets analyst and through the session. So stick around as we wait for the other people to join us. We will be starting in a few minutes' time. Good evening, everybody. We are about to start. Our topic of the day is going through navigating the Hisa app. Before we start, you can leave your questions in the comment section and we will be happy to uh, answer them. Our financial markets analyst, Anthony Gambati, will be taking us through this session. So feel free, and I hope that we all learn a lot today.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys can hear me. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys had an amazing day. Today we're going to learn about how to use the Hisa app, basically how to navigate the app. So I have a request. Before we even start, please make sure you have your phone ready so that I would like you guys to just open your app. Open your app so that we can do this together. So that I think it will be more practical if you guys can see what I'm doing. So you can open your app. If you're using your laptop, that's okay. You can just open your app, the Hisa app, so that you can follow along. So let me give you like 1 minute, 1 minute to open your app, the Hisa app. At the same time, just check in the chat section, I've sent a link to our WhatsApp group. So make sure you join our WhatsApp group and Telegram groups because I usually send a lot of educational resources on those groups. So make sure you join, you will learn a lot. So on a daily basis, we send resources on the group. So let me give you 1 minute to get the app and then we can start. So I think we're good now. So the moment you open the app, this is the first thing you see. And there's a reason why we decided to add this section. So basically, the moment you open the app, you have some information on what's happening in the markets and basically some ideas on how to invest. So if you look, I think for the guys who have opened the app, the today's market movers, one in the Kenyan market, our focus was on equity, which has been dropping despite announcing results yesterday. So that's on the Kenyan market. Then you can scroll to your right, you'll see that we gave you a stock to look at. So one of the stocks we gave you was HP. And the reason why we gave you HP is because Warren Buffett added around 15.77% of this stock to his portfolio. So it was one stock we thought to be nice to inform you guys to check it out. And the reason why investors are attracted to this stock is because it's committed to one of the largest stock buybacks of around 15 billion USD. So that's one Kenyan stock equity, one US stock HP, and then one US ETF. So this is one of maybe an ETF that we have noticed has some good elements. So this ETF is called the Global X Super Dividend ETF. And the reason why we decided to put it here is because it gives you monthly dividends. So every month you'll be getting a dividend from this ETF, and it has a dividend yield of 14.53%. So basically, annually alone, you're getting a return on investment of 14.53% in terms of dividends, which is almost higher than some Kenyan bonds. So that's why we decided to put it there. So click on check out this ETF. So let me see. So this is how you log into your account. So I hope everyone is. I think for the guys who had logged in before, I think you should be already in the app. So let me log in, and then we can go through together. So let me check my email in a few. So, so we'll use this demo account. So this is my demo account. So we'll use it to just to show you how you can navigate the app itself. So the moment you access the app, this is what you see. The first thing, I'll go to the community section. So the community section is where you see the conversations that people are having on the app. So basically, you'll see some of the conversations. Basically, one of the conversations I sent yesterday was update changes to Warren Buffett portfolio. He bought more Apple Occidental, sold all his holdings in TSMC. So these are some of the these are some of the things that are happening in the market. So it's basically what the community of investors is doing in the market. So and then you can just type and start a conversation basically. And then if you receive dividends, you can just post an image, attach an image of the dividends, and then just post, hello guys, I just received a dividend of this amount, just to encourage other investors to invest. So basically, this is sort of the interactive section of the app. Then for the podcast, when you click on podcast, you can be able to see some just some helpful materials that can help you follow what has been happening in the markets. Then let's go to the main button, that's the invest button. So on the invest button, you have a few options. That's the Kenyan stocks, US stocks, US ETFs, and the CDS button. So I want to explain what each of these means. But before that, let's look at the blue button at the top. So the blue button at the top shows you basically your portfolio, what you have. And so this is where you'll see your portfolio. So you'll see your instruments. So you'll see the Kenyan stocks that you own, the US ETFs that you own, the US stocks that you own, and other assets that you own. And then when you click on the assets, you'll be able to see basically a more breakdown of the assets that you own. So on this account, I've not bought any assets on this account. So I've only bought an experimental purchase of Home Africa, that's 200 shares. So you can also see the dividends I issued on May, if there are any dividends, I mean. So these are the assets, the instruments. Yeah. So basically, this is where you see your portfolio, basically all the assets that you own. Yeah. And if you want a deep breakdown, you go to assets. So that's the portfolio. On the other hand, let's say you want to invest in Kenyan stocks. So if you want to invest in Kenyan stocks, you just click on Kenyan stocks. That's the Kenyan stocks button. And you'll be able to see several categories of Kenyan stocks that you can invest in. And on top, you can see the value of the Kenyan stocks that you have invested in. Okay, so let's go to all stocks. And then when you click on all stocks, you'll be able to see all the stocks, the 63 stocks available in the NSE. And if you want to buy a stock, you can either search a stock by the name. So if it's Safaricom, you will search using the name Safaricom. or you can use what you call ticker symbols. So ticker symbols are basically a combination of letters that represent the stock. So the ticker symbol for Safaricom is SCOM. So that's SCOM. So any can work. So just type SCOM and you'll get Safaricom. So that's Safaricom. So you can see the Safaricom and you can see the daily gain. So actually Safaricom gained top 10% today. So you can see Safaricom gained 10% today. The current price is 14.30. So let's say you want to buy Safaricom. So what you really do, just click on Safaricom. After clicking on Safaricom, you'll see I don't own any shares of Safaricom. So you'll see if you own shares of Safaricom, you'll be able to see the number of shares that you own at the top. So you can see what you can see here, you can see the charts. So let's put year to date. You can see Safaricom has fallen from around 24 to around that 14.3. So max, you can see the max. You can see Safaricom was rising up to around 2021 where it fell. And then you can, if you want to see a different chart, you can click on this other button and you'll be able to see the candlesticks, right? So anyway, so let's go to the summary. You can be able to see a summary of that specific stock. So you can see whatever has been happening with the stock, basically any announcements. And then when you scroll down, you'll be able to see the company info. So Safaricom is let me see. So Safaricom is a Kenyan-based technology company. So let me see. Okay. So Safaricom. So let's assume now you've already read the company info. Let's go to buying the exact stock. Apologies, my phone is sort of misbehaving, but anyway. So let's go to the US stocks actually. So on the other hand, the US stocks is the same thing. So you can see the various categories of US stocks. So we have the all stocks, we have the growth stocks, we have the value stocks, we have the dividend stocks, we have the Buffett's favorite, we have the blue chip stocks. So if you want to buy US stocks, the same thing. So click on all stocks, and then you can search a specific company. Let's say you want to buy a company like Apple. So you can search by the full name, that's Apple. So Apple, or you can search using the ticker symbol for Apple, which is usually AAPL. AAPL. So you'll see the stock. Same thing as for Kenyan stocks. You can see, you'll be able to see a chart. And then you can also see the company info. So let me give it a few moments. So you can see the historical charts. Personally, I love to use the all-time chart just to see the position of the stock relative to basically its historical performance. So you can see someone who bought around 208 has had quite a good return on Apple. And the reason why I like to look at the all-time chart is because it enables me to see, is this stock currently trading at an all-time high or a low? So which is the best place to make an entry. So that's why I always prefer looking at the all-time chart. So you can see the Apple summary of the stock, and then you can see the company info for Apple. And then, okay, let me see. You can see the company info. And then you can see the company info. So on the other hand, let's look at let's say you don't have any idea on how to, let's say, buy stocks, which stocks you would like to start with. So what you will do, you can come here. So under US stocks, just scroll down and you'll be able to see some of the most traded stocks on Hisa. let's click on most traded stocks just to get an idea of which stocks guys are buying. So one of the most traded stock on Hisa this month has been Tesla. So most guys are buying Tesla, and then most guys are buying Apple, and then most guys are buying Zim. So the reason why most guys are buying Zim is because it has one of the highest dividend yields in the US market, over I think over 100%, a dividend yield of over 100%. Then most guys are buying Amazon. They had good, they announced good Q1 results, I think last week, and or last week, either last week or last week, but one. Then most guys are buying PowerBridge. Most guys are buying Meta. Most guys are buying Advanced Micro Devices, that's AMD. And most guys are buying Starch Industries. And then also most guys are buying Realty Income. And the reason why most guys are buying Realty Income is because this specific stock gives you monthly dividends. So basically when you buy this stock, you'll be getting dividends on a monthly basis. And it's a rate actually. So with this, the reason why we decided to have the most traded on Hisa is because you might not have an idea of which stocks are good for you, but this can help you to narrow down so you can do your specific research, like just what I've told you. So you can note down these stocks and then go do your own research. So why are people buying Zim? Why are people buying Amazon? Why are people buying PowerBridge, right? That's the reason why we included them most traded on Hisa. And then we have the sectors. So in the US market, we have 11 sectors. So you can see the different stocks based on the sectors, either the communication sector, the consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, etc, etc. So on the categories, we offer over 3,000 US stocks actually. So we decided to break down the categories into smaller categories because we have different types of investors. There are investors who are looking for a growth portfolio. So basically a growth portfolio is a portfolio where you're looking for companies that are growing at a higher rate than the average market. So there is the difference between growth and value. Growth stocks tend to be more volatile and they tend to be a little bit more risky. But on the other hand, they have a higher upside. On the other hand, value stocks tend to be quite stable and they're stocks that are considered sort of undervalued relative to the general market. So these stocks will be different for different investors. So if you're a young investor, mostly, you'd want to go for a growth stocks to have a growth portfolio. On the other hand, if you're maybe an older investor, you'd want to go for value. On the other hand, we also give you dividend stocks. So dividend stock, these are some of the companies in the US that have been giving stable dividends, right? And then for Buffett favorites, these are basically companies that one of the best investors in the world owns. And then when you talk about the blue chip stocks, these are some of the biggest companies in the US. Same with the large cap stocks. As you can see, for the large cap stocks, you have the likes of Apple, Meta, etc, etc, and Google. Go back. Okay, so that's it on US stocks. On the other hand, US, yeah.
Anthony.
Okay.
Just a minute. We have a few questions before we go on. The first one, in regards to orders, we have the order date and the expiry date. Kindly elaborate on the expiry date.
Okay, so when it comes to order date, an order date is basically when you make the order, and then we have an expiry date. So any order that's not executed within 30 days is usually automatically cancelled. And this will happen mostly for Kenyan stocks. Kenyan stocks tend to have very low liquidity, some Kenyan stocks. So you'll find that you buy a stock and then the order remains pending. So if the order remains pending for 30 days, then the order is automatically cancelled. So that's what we call an expiry date. And then I think another question, hi, in regards to the portfolio, we have the assets and percentage. The assets show dollar and the percentage zero. What's the point of the percentage? So the percentage is just basically meant to show you the movement in your portfolio, basically the gains or the losses of the different assets. Actually, for the guys, if I had like the account with the different assets, you'll be able to see the increase or the decrease in the various assets. So that's how. Okay, let's go to the US ETFs. For the US ETFs, same thing. You can see all the ETFs, the index funds and the dividend ETFs. So For all ETFs, you'll be able to search for different ETFs. I think most guys know the Vanguard 500 ETF. So you can search by name or you can search by ticker symbol, which is VOO. So just type VOO and you'll be able to see the Vanguard. So you can click on the ETF and then you can see details about the ETF and if you own any holdings of VOO. So for beginner, I think most beginners might not know which ETFs to get started with. So for beginners, you are actually advised to invest in index funds. So that's why we decided to include an index fund category. So click on index funds, and the moment you click on index funds, you'll be able to see some index funds you can start with. So the most common one is SPY. This is the S&P 500 ETF, which allows you to invest in the S&P 500 index, or basically the 500 largest companies in the US. So you can just click on SPY and start buying. On the other hand, we have some ETFs that pay dividends. So you can just click on dividend ETFs for the guys who want to invest in dividend ETFs. So you can see the likes of SCHD, you can see the likes of JP. I think JP should be here. So these are some of the ETFs for a person who wants to invest for dividends. So when you scroll down, you can see some of the issuers, the likes of BlackRock. Actually, BlackRock is the biggest asset manager in the world. So you'll be able to see all the ETFs that are issued. When you click on BlackRock, you can be able to see all the ETFs that are issued by BlackRock. Okay. When you click on the, let's say Vanguard, you can be able to see all the ETFs issued by Vanguard, and they're quite a lot. Let me show you. Let me click on BlackRock. Like BlackRock, I know BlackRock has over 300 ETFs, so there are so many. So there's something for everyone for as far as BlackRock is concerned. So as for ETFs, you can do the same thing. So let's say you don't have an idea of which ETFs to buy, just scroll down and come to the most traded on Hisa. Click on the most traded on Hisa. So you see the most traded on Hisa is the S&P 500 Vanguard ETF. And the reason why most guys buy that ETF is because it's sort of like the easiest way to invest in the entire stock market. So basically, you're buying 500 of the largest companies in the US with one trade. So that's the S&P 500 Vanguard ETF. On the other hand, you can see the second most traded ETF is the JP Morgan Equity ETF. And the reason why most guys are trading this ETF, JP, is because it has a high dividend yield of around 11.32%. And they give monthly dividends. On the other hand, you can see the US dividend equity ETF. This is the SCHD. So you can see why most people, same thing, most people trade this ETF because it's one of the best ETFs for dividends. You can also see the Invesco Nasdaq ETF. And the reason why guys are trading in both the Invesco Nasdaq 100 ETF and the Invesco QQQ Trust ETF is because these two ETFs track the Nasdaq index, and the Nasdaq index is quite volatile and it has better returns because it has a holding of around 56% in the technology sector, which gives it a lot of volatility and high returns. Actually, the Nasdaq has returned around 17% on average for the last 30 years, which is quite good. 17% annual return. So that's why most guys love the Invesco Nasdaq and the Invesco QQQ Trust ETF. So for these ones, you want to buy at least one. Don't buy both because they sort of track the same index. That's up. And then you can see finally the S&P 500 ETF Trust. Same thing, tracking the 500 largest companies in the US. So with this, you're able to note down some of these ETFs, and then you can go and do your own research on the different ETFs. Why are people buying JP? Why are people buying the SCHD? Why are people buying QQM? Why are people buying QQQ? And why are people buying SPY? So that's the reason we have most traded on Hisa. And then you can see the different asset classes. Just like stocks, ETFs are also classified in terms of assets. So you can find bond ETFs, you can find equity ETFs, you can find multi-asset ETFs, etc. That's it on ETFs. Let me go back to, let me see if I have a question.
Yes, we do. We have two. The first one is Hisa is Hisa regulated?
Yes, Hisa is regulated. Hisa is regulated, and all our partners are regulated. So Hisa is regulated. All our partners are FAIDA. That's FAIDA on the Kenyan side, and then we have DriveWell on the US side. So FIDA is the broker that allows us to offer UK stocks. So FIDA is regulated by CMA, that's the Capital Markets Authority. And then on the US side, DriveWell, which allows us to offer US stocks, is regulated by the SEC and FINRA. So those are the major regulatory bodies in the US. Sasa, what's the other question?
Another question is, would you know what flow payout and earnings payout ratio?
Okay, these are finance terms, so I think it will take another webinar to answer this. So I think we have a webinar on valuations, so I think that's when we'll cover this. But basically, when investing in companies, you want to invest in the large cap companies which have a lot of free cash flows. So we're done on US ETFs, so let's go back to, we have covered Kenyan stocks, US ETFs. Let's go to see.
Anthony,
Okay.
Anthony, just a minute, we have another question. How do I know which ETFs or stocks, US stocks, give monthly dividends? How does someone get their dividends? And can dividends be reinvested? What is the process?
Okay, so if you want to know which stocks and ETFs pay monthly dividends, please join our WhatsApp and Telegram group, because I usually send resources there. So we have articles. We actually have a group of investment articles with that. So I think I'll send a link before the end of the webinar so that you guys can join. But anyway, just join our WhatsApp and Telegram group, and you'll be able to be receiving this information. We actually have articles on the same. Sasa, as for ETFs, let me see. Let me copy the link. Chat. So I've sent a link to the guy who had asked that question. So as for ETFs, with that list, you'll be able to know which ETFs give monthly dividends. On the other hand, dividends are actually, when opening an account, you'll actually select where your dividends will be sent. So you'll be able to receive your dividends on your wallet. So that's not, should not worry you. And then for dividend investing, please know that you can only reinvest dividends above $1. Sasa, and then there's an option to choose dividend reinvesting on the app when you're selecting your form of dividend payment. So we have a dividend reinvestment program. Someone is asking about the different wallets. I think that's where I'm going after CDSC. I'll explain the different wallets. Sasa. So I think the guy who had asked about the ETFs, I've sent the link. So let's talk about CDSC. So the reason why you have the CDSC button is there are two different things. For US stocks, immediately you sign in, or sign up on the app, and you are verified, you can be able to trade in US stocks. And I think I forgot to mention that with the moment you sign up, to be verified, just click on the help section, the purple button, the customer service section, and you can send us the front page and back page of your ID, Sasa, under the help section. So when the moment you send us the front page and back page of your ID, you'll be able to, you'll be verified. So after verification, you can trade US stocks. But for Kenyan stocks, you need to have a CDS account. And here's why. In Kenya, before 2004, around 201 to 204, guys used before that, guys used to have physical certificates for US shares, I mean for Kenyan shares. So that was changed by an act of parliament where they established a depository called CDSC. That's the Central Depository and Settlement Corporation. So CDSC acts as the depository for shares. So just like the way you have a bank account, which identifies the money, the different account holders, etc. You need to have a CDS account, which shows the number of shares you own in CDSC, the depository. So that's why you need to have a CDSC account. So the moment you have been verified on Hisa, you can start trading US stocks. But for Kenyan stocks, you need to have a CDS account to start trading. So if you already have one, the guys who maybe had used other brokers, let's say you used other brokers before Hisa. So you just click on CDSC, click on that button, and then you can connect your account. So you can connect your account. So for me, as you can see, for me, I already have a CDS account, so no need. I've already done the process. That's why mine appears like this. So you can connect the account. So if you don't have a CDS account, you'll be able to see the option to open a new account under CDSC. And please note, I think one thing I should mention at this point, you can have more than one broker. And you know, there are guys who are using other brokers and then they come to Hisa, they're like, I need to transfer my shares. I don't know what to do because I already have another broker. You can have more than two brokers. The only thing that doesn't change is your CDS number. Your CDS number will remain the same, but you can have more than 2 or 3 brokers. They're actually called Central Depository Agents or CDS. So you can have more than 2 brokers. So if you have a CDS account, come here, click on CDS, connect account. If you don't have one, click here and you'll go to open a new CDS account for you. Let me see the question. Can you guys assist in creating a CDS account? Yeah, immediately you click on CDS. If you have an issue with CDS, just reach out to us. Just click on the help on the customer care section and we'll be able to help you. And then does trading stocks and earning dividends subject me to any extra responsibility in terms of filing my returns and income disclosure? So for dividends, they are cut at source. So you don't need to file anything. And then I think one thing I needed to mention about the charges. So for both US stocks and Kenyan stocks, we only charge 1%. So for every trade, you are charged 1%. And what I mean by 1% is if you're buying shares worth $5, you'll be charged 0.05 per trade. So that's buying and selling. So every process is considered a trade. When you buy 1%, when the day you decide to sell 1%. And then we don't have any maintenance fee. There's no maintenance fee. And then one thing you should note for US dividends, the dividends are charged at 30% withholding tax. This is because these are rule in the US for all non-US citizens. The dividends attract a 30% tax. That's on dividends. So they are already charged. So when you receive the dividends, you will receive the dividends with the tax already cut. So that's the most important thing when it comes to the charges and the taxes. So if you have a CDS account with another broker and with Hisa, how will the brokerage fees apply? So the brokerage fees will apply for all the stocks you buy on Hisa. So for the other stocks, they're not on our side, basically. So the new trades that we make on Hisa, that's when the new brokerage fees will apply, the Hisa brokerage fees. Hi. I think another thing I should mention, when buying Kenyan stocks and when buying US stocks, for US stocks, you can buy as low as $5. That's what we call fractional shares. So basically, when buying US stocks, you don't need to, you might find a stock like Tesla maybe is at $127. You don't need to buy one single share of Tesla at 127. You can buy a 0.00 or something of that stock. On the other hand, when talking about a stock like for Kenyan stocks, the difference between Kenyan stocks and US stocks, for US stocks, you just need a minimum of 5 USD. For Kenyan stocks, it's opposite now. It's it's the number of shares that determines the minimum amount to spend. So for Kenyan stocks, you need to buy at least 100 shares. So if you're buying a company like Uchumi, which is at 0.33 cents, you will only need a minimum of 33 bob to start. That's 0.33 times 100. If you're buying a company like Safaricom, which is currently trading at around 14.30, you'll need for 1,430 to start. So for Kenyan stocks, what determines the minimum amount is the number of shares and the current stock price of that specific share. On the other hand, for US stocks, it's standard, 5 USD minimum amount. So I think the final part will be the wallet. I think for the news, it's self-explanatory. So basically, you'll be able to see the news. Basically, you can follow some news here. And then on the other hand, let's go to the wallets. I think that's the last question I've gotten under wallets. So let me explain the different wallets. So we have the default wallet. So the moment you deposit, this is where money goes. And then we have the FIB wallet and the USD wallet. So I think the most important thing under the wallets is the FIB wallet. Note that for you to buy Kenyan stocks, you need to have money in your FIB wallet. Okay, never forget that. So for the FIB wallet is meant only for Kenyan stocks. And then you can have your USD or in USD wallet money to buy US stocks. And then you can have default in your default wallet money that maybe you're not using right now. You don't want to buy shares. So the most important thing is for the FIB wallet. Always note that the FIB wallet, you need to have money in your FIB wallet for you to buy Kenyan stocks. And this is because I told you guys we partnered with FIB, that's Faida Investment Bank, to be able to buy to allow guys to buy Kenyan stocks on the app. So I think the other things are sort of self-explanatory. You can see deposit, withdraw, transfer, save. So you can either deposit, you can if you want to withdraw, just click on withdraw and you'll be able to select which wallet you want to withdraw from. And then for transfer, you can transfer between the different wallets. You can move money from your default wallet to the FIB wallet to buy Kenyan stock. So.
It seems that Anthony has been disconnected. In the meantime, as he regains access to the live, you can keep sending your questions in the chat section and we will be happy to answer them. Yes. Francis is requesting, please send the WhatsApp or Telegram link. I'll resend it right now. in the comments section, there's a link to all our groups, that is our Telegram group and our WhatsApp group. If there are no other questions, I think we can end it there. Please elaborate on the buy process of the US stocks. What does it mean to set profit in stock? I think we'll end it there. Apologies, we're having some internet issues. Kindly join the WhatsApp. Kindly join the WhatsApp group. We will continue the discussion there, and see you on Thursday. We're going to have another training. Apologies for the inconvenience caused. We'll see you. The link is in our chat section. Kindly join so that we can continue this discussion. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you on Thursday and Tuesday next week. Okay, I think I can see some questions. You can't find me on okay. It's in the chat section. Let me just share with you the link. There it is. Anyone else who can't find the link? Kindly let me know before we end the live. Yeah. Welcome. We'll see you in the group. Apologies, we are having some technical difficulties, but we'll see you in the group and answer the remaining questions there. See you next week, same place, same time. And on Thursday, see you on Thursday's training. Have a blessed night, everybody.